So how did you get involved with Yellowstone?
After Black Panther, I thought I was going to take a long night's rest, and my agent called me and said, "You have to talk to Taylor Sheridan, who was the director and writer of, the other films that were pretty
Hell and High Water,
Yes, thank you." And I was really tired after Black Panther. I did not want
As
to
you
go
should
back
be,
to
so.
work, but I thought that I would take the opportunity to just talk to him. And so he called me at home. We had the best conversation. Like, it went for 2 hours, and he was just telling me about how the West is different, how cowboys aren't the same, how it's not some old idea, it's a new idea, how they wear their clothes very hip hop at times, and they, invoke a lot of modern fashion, which I found hard to believe, but then it made sense. And, just his commitment to storytelling. We had such a great conversation. I was inspired, and that day I said, okay, I would do it. And then I went from 1 month of finishing Black Panther to starting a series, which was not. I don't recommend it.
You need a longer break.
Right.
Well, I was just saying to someone the other day, like when I was watching the show, like it really does come across like this is not like your grandma's like Western, because like you don't have like your average like old crusty Western wear. Like it
Yes.
feels very modern. So was hip hop like actually the inspiration?
Well, it
for
wasn't
this?
all the inspiration. I found out a lot about, bat wings and, shotguns. Those are chaps, by the way. You wear those when you get on a horse. I learned a lot about how the Montana Indian is different from the one from Texas, or I learned a lot about cowboys, how they like to crease their hats. And it just started to really be like a discovery for me, and it reignited, me. I got more energy, and I was more into it. And the storytelling that Taylor is, I guess known for, is really kind of gritty and really, honest. So I enjoyed that part of it, and before long, it was beautiful to me.
So what did you learn in your research, like diving into cowboy culture?
Yeah, that, they really like to dress well. I mean, we had the old cowboys coming in with, you could stand their jeans up in the corner. They were so starched. Their shirts were pristine. And the cowboy boots were well worn, broken in, but really quality. The quality of the craftsmanship of that whole culture it's really nice. And then you have the younger cowboy who wants to wear Ralph Lauren, and he wants to wear, a little bit more contemporary clothes. So, I drive around Utah and go to these warehouses that were like the size of an airplane hangar full of ranch wear. And I would think, they got to catch up. Ranch wear is different today, and they need a makeover. And so it was kind of exciting to reintroduce this new style in this series.
They could just emulate all of your costumes now from the show. So
Oh, yeah, exactly. Or we can have our own section of the store.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was, really great. Kevin is an expert in, cowboys.
Kevin
and
Costner.
Kevin
Yeah, he's
Costner.
born cowboy.
Yeah, and still has it, still dedicated, committed, still handsome as ever. So, we went on that journey together of storytelling.
Well, with Kevin's character John, you put him in a lot of deep tones, which I think work well, both to come off as warm and dark, because his character is this family patriarch. But
Right,
he's
you
also
think at first because it's
Yeah.
Kevin Costner, he's
but
going
he's
to be the
also
good guy, but he's the
brutal
bad
and
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, how did you develop that aesthetic for him?
well, he owns such a big ranch. He's such a, well-to-do man, and so that everything has to be custom. Most of his shirts were custom. His jackets were all made from vintage. And we kind of approached it from, the depth of the Southwest and the color palette that you see there. He had a lot to say about like things that he liked. The ski jacket that we remade for him with the orange
yeah.
collar. He really loved that. He felt like it was signature for him. So we collaborate. We work together. On it.
So how many of his outfits were custom?
Most of them. All of his
Okay.
shirts were made. Anto of Beverly Hills. He had his favorite Ralph Lauren jeans that they don't sell anymore, so we had to go to the denim doctor and fix that up for him. And so even his jeans were made. His boots were all handmade.
Wow.
Yeah, there were a couple of vendors we went to. Filson, Carhartt. You can't get past a Carhartt jacket. A good one that's worn in is worth its weight in gold. So he represented the older, his time on his ranch by having a well-worn Carhartt, a vest and jacket. He had his barn wear. So, but most of his stuff was custom made because he's very particular about how things fit and how things look and how they're represented. Vintage belts, the accessories are important to him. So. Sometimes you can't get around it. It seems like a pair of jeans is a pair of jeans, but that's just not true. They really do have to have a fit, almost like a tailoring. Who would have guessed a pair of jeans?
Yeah. Now he has his favorite pair of jeans back. You fixed it for him.
Well, he has like 15 pair of his favorite jeans.
He's just going to keep coming to you now.
Exactly. So.
Well, I mean, you mentioned earlier, like you also had to research like Native American culture.
Yes.
So what did you learn on that front?
Yeah, there's different communities of Native Americans, and they're very beholden to their artistry, and so you can't give a Crow the same accessories and jewelry that you would give a Native American from the Southwest, like Santa Fe. Santa Fe Native Americans use more turquoise and silver, where the Crow, they use more beadwork, and their beadwork has a lot of symbolism. So, we were very clear and we had a lot of people from the Crow community to advise us and, really give us a shorthand on what goes into their artistry and their wearable arts. Mm-hmm. We had a big powwow where they invited a lot of Native Americans from that Utah, Montana region, and they brought their families, they brought all of their artistry, their costumes. It was amazing. And they also sold all of their wares. So there's like this whole vending that goes on around the powwow as they compete, different competitions, dance competitions. It's really beautiful. And we did it right like in the parking lot of our big production office, It's like we transformed it. And that was really, really wonderful. And I just felt like, I was really proud that I could connect to this culture in the same way that I kind of connected with Black Panther, because I looked at their beadwork, I looked at the feather work and what was symbolic about it. We had Rainwater wear a bonnet. And listen, everyone who came in the production office was like, never let that touch the floor. It has to be on its own stance. It's a sacred ornament. Mm-hmm. And so it was wonderful to discover another culture that wasn't mine. So I felt like I took the position of many others who went to see Black Panther and loved it, but were not, African, and still loved it because I loved their culture.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Rainwater, I love that he wasn't, I'm sure this is, to your point of being authentic to the culture, but, he wasn't in like your stereotypical like bolo ties or whatever. He's wearing a nice suit.
Yeah, we didn't want to go there, and that's what Taylor said to me, like, you're not going to grab a whole bunch of spurs from Western Costume and come and outfit all the cowboys. We really, we do things differently. We have our initials on the leather part of our spurs. There's Kelly Cole that has a whole business that sells them. So Rainwater's character at first, because of his physique, he naturally went into the type of suit that has a Western yoke. There's nothing wrong with that. But Taylor wanted him to be this guy, Harvard graduate, left, the reservation very young, went on, to be very different from what we might think. But this guy is this physique of, a
very tall,
linebacker.
yeah.
And so, suits right now were very thin, very close to the body, and we managed to do it. It was a lot of tailoring, but he ended up looking good, and his character
Yeah.
came from another angle, and it was nice to see something new.
Yeah, because it was like he was straddling these two worlds, but it
Yes.
was still grounded in his culture. It wasn't
Exactly.
like totally over with it.
Yeah, but his driver, his driver had it all. He was pure Native American, and the long black hair, the hat,
Still thinking about
the
it.
earrings. Yeah, I couldn't get over him right away.
Well, I know you were unable to return for season 2. So what does that entail when you have to hand off the reins to like the new designer?
Yeah, it's really tough because, when you give something your heart and soul and you really commit to it, it's hard to kind of think that someone else might, step in. But, I advised, I helped them along there were characters that we built together. And that is a process, and you don't expect somebody to just walk into your process and be able to get it. So I stayed on and kind of shepherded her in, and the second season we kind of collaborated and did it together. I mean, I didn't look over her shoulder, but I did help her into their world.
Mm-hmm. And Kevin still calls you for jeans. And,
Yeah, well, no, he has 14 pair, remember. It won't be for a while.
He needs to hit even 20. So, yeah. You're working on Coming to America too right now?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I did 2 films since Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm.
One was Dolomite Is My Name with Eddie Murphy, and then Eddie turned around and wanted to do a remake of Coming to America. So then I was back with him again, just like that, boom.
Yeah.
And it's a huge undertaking. There's like 30 years since the first one was done, and people still have Coming to America parties, And so there's a big community of fans out there that are anticipating this new one.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about Black Panther 2.
I don't know
What's the
anything
latest?
about
Nothing?
that. Maybe there's
Marvel's
not one
gonna, like,
coming.
come out
I don't
and,
think
like,
they're
shoot
gonna
us.
do one.
No? No phase 4 at all after Endgame.
I don't really know. I know that they're writing. There's so much. Marvel's like the CIA.
Yeah.
So, it's on the need-to-know basis.
Someone's gonna come out and just like
Yeah, I'll be
start,
asked to join 2 weeks before they start.
Yeah.